Okay, so yeah, this is kind of a minor thing. Oh, wait, yes, I should not have my screen size like this. But yeah, this is one of the weird things I've had the pleasure of interacting with in LU. Oh, no, I need to very much unequip this. Yeah, I'm recording. Cool. Yeah, so basically I was mucking around. Ideally, I was mucking around with this and seeing what would happen if I, got myself stuck and then had the parrots notice I was in here. However, then I realised, wait a second. Well, I was ideally hoping, what happens if I could get them to just like consistently hit me in like a particular way repeatedly. Game gets very, very confused. It's like, yeah, what if I could get myself stuck, get them to hit me repeatedly? I assume probably would be unlikely to build up speed, but I can hope and just see what happens. In order to do that, I had to get stuck somewhere, and the best place I found was here. And yeah, I found, so thus far I've seen one vaguely interesting thing with this. I haven't tried jumping. I'm assuming jumping just releases me. But the interesting thing I've seen so far is this. Evidently the recoil, and like this is actually quite interesting because what it seems like is happening there is that the recoil from that. So how far can I? Well, at what point do they notice me? This might just be a good thing to know. They don't. As long as they saw me. As long as they saw me come in, they don't notice me leave. Okay. What happens if I do this? Nothing. Where's the cutoff? It should be like here somewhere. Okay. Alright, so they won't. So, okay, so I can't bug it like that. So that's a little bit of a shame, but it was worth a try. I didn't really expect anything much to happen with that. But this is interesting. I guess I don't really need to take that off, do I? Yeah, that attacking knocks me backwards through. So what we know is that if you do this, yeah, you get pushed backwards. I didn't realise that that was like an actual... If you hit something that is physically there, you do... Really? That's annoying. You do, like, actually get teleported backwards. That is instantaneous. Which, okay, may not have been new to everyone. That's new to me. Because that means that if you can get something right ahead of you, and then punch it, that can clip you backwards through something. Yeah, okay, so that's... I kind of figured jumping would break me out, and there I didn't even have to jump up. It still broke me out upwards. But yeah, so this is really cool. Because we know we can more or less generate physics objects in the fly under certain circumstances. Like ranged enemies. Or, I guess just enemies maybe could even do that. Because, yeah, it's basically the principle that punching teleports you. Everything has to be like some subset things, because this doesn't seem... Or maybe it's just this doesn't teleport me far enough. And we're out. That because of whatever type of object this is... Like, I still don't know how the game handles collisions in any detail whatsoever. I really should just, like, ask, like, people from communities that speedrun games and use the same engine, because LU use the same engine as quite a few other games for physics. Let's not have this equipped. Yeah, I kind of enjoy watching what the game even is attempting to do to get me out. So if I don't move, it just pushes me to one side. Okay, so that makes sense. Because the thing I'm pushing up against is very... Like, if I was to just walk in that direction, it would push me that way. So that makes sense. I'm happy with that. And I know I can't actually get clipped inside this object. The only reason this is happening is because there are two physics objects right beside one another. Oh, that's kind of cool. Those hand gestures my character was making there were not gang signs, for any of you who thought they were, but were in fact the character falling state, which is interesting. So the game temporarily there thought I was falling. Yeah, I guess I should just test. Figured I should test that at least once. Figured it would get me nothing, and it didn't get me anything, but you know, it was worth a try. Okay, well, I'm whistling if that is bad. Very fast, turns out. You never know. But yeah, so again, just... Oh no, now I'm falling. Let's just see what my velocity is doing. Okay, my velocity was just increasing there. So I've also got cheat engine up so I can monitor stuff like velocity. Because that's the original reason I was doing this, was because I was hoping we'd get some evidence that when clipped you enter free fall. So that's good to see, at least. You did get evidence that I was falling, and whilst I was remaining in the same place, my velocity was still increasing. That's good. So yeah, what's happening when I angle my body side to side is just that my character's hitbox is moving. So yeah, this is just the thing I wanted to test, because there are a couple of... Gnarl Forest is the only place in the game I know which has some of these things. Yeah, okay, what happens if I just run up and... Okay, so what is it about something which means I get knocked back when I hit it? Is it just it doesn't have a destructible component? Because, like, yeah, anything with a destructible component I won't get knocked back from, but something like this I will. And yeah, that knockback does, like, literally teleport you through stuff. I don't see any real way of chaining it unless we... Well, the thing is, like, this is arguably one of the potentially more powerful things I found in a little while. Because this does basically say if you're in a cramped enough area, there is actually the hope of a clip. I don't know any areas which are this cramped off the top of my head. That's where my game knowledge is shown to be lacking. Because the issue is, yeah, it needs to be, like, bounded on all sides very, very tightly. And, like, presumably, like... What? Yeah, what's the condition on which this happens relative to the slope? Because, like, obviously for incredibly shallow slopes, this doesn't happen. And for incredibly steep ones, it does. Where's the cutoff? It's like here, this happens. Alright, if I start going here, I'm just going to move upwards. And that terrain isn't what it actually looks like. Well, it's good to know. This bit I can just walk up. So I want something that I'd slide off of. Like, well, let's just see, for instance. First off here. Do get pushed back. Yeah, this is like an instantaneous teleport. I don't know why this is in the game. Because the game was doing a pretty good job of being not very broken without this, but though you devs saw fit to add this, who am I to disagree? Okay, so this I can't walk up. It's a sliding slope, so I can't walk up it, but I don't appear really to get any. I do get a little, actually, maybe. It's really hard to tell how much this is, and we don't have a mechanism for... I don't think that is me getting any. I think that's me bouncing back, so... Okay, it seems to be it just needs to be some part of my body touches something. Assuming that doesn't have physics, yeah. And what determines the direction I move backwards? I'm assuming it's not my facing direction. Really annoying because any place I test this, I'm going to be unable to see. But, I mean, yeah, that just seems to have... That literally just pushed me out. Actually, no, that is interesting. Take a look at what I'm actually doing. I think this is interesting. I think we are seeing something here. Because... like that, unless that's just me landing on something where I'm unstable, that looks like me partially clipping into something and then getting pushed out. The issue is, I suspect, that we don't have... What's just... Ecums have physics. Obviously it doesn't have physics when we're sitting around, but I didn't think... Didn't think the physics should feel like that. Yeah, why am I bad? Well, surely I've tried this. But there's a place in Avant Gardens. I have investigated it for out-of-bounds bugs in the past, though, which is what makes me somewhat suspicious. So, I know projectiles from other things doing like having collisions with other stuff can produce invisible physics volumes. I'm going to go out on a very, very strange limb here. That was not what I meant to do, but okay. 5 imagination, not going to say no to that. This seems like an incredibly stupid limb to go out upon. I don't know if this is going to attack this box. Really shouldn't do. But okay, it didn't. That's fine. It's worth a try. So, okay, I've got to actually get really close. Okay, I was hoping we'd get an invisible projectile volume. It was kind of a long shot, but I was hopeful. Yeah, that's the thing with LU. We just have so little control over physics volume side. This is pretty cool. Oh yeah, I guess actually before I go to Avant Gardens, I know I just smashed that lake for nothing now, but this is one extra thing. The reason I came here initially, which I should check out. Oh yeah, we've got the weird glitch where my hat is disproportionately large compared to my body, or maybe that my body is disproportionately small compared to my hat. Don't know, but regardless, it is disproportionate. Yep, okay, it was my hat being disproportionately large. Yeah. So it needs to be something you can punch that won't smash. So, okay, Oh! Oh, is Funky Ugerman going to come incredibly clutch? He might. No. No, maybe he won't. Or maybe this just got fixed. So there was a bug previously. I wasn't 100% convinced. It's legitimate. Okay, where the plunger shot went into your on hand and blocked your normal attack. That, it turns out, is just a bug. Okay. Sorry, Funky, you didn't come in clutch. So if we had a way of blocking the player's main attack, or main attack from doing damage, there could be some interesting stuff. So I believe this was the live out of bounds clip, and I wanted to take a look at this through Cheat Engine just to see what happens to my velocity, just to see what the velocity looks like. Because ages ago I was mucking around with clipping into objects in LU. And I had some theories which never got proven right or wrong. I'm fairly certain it is this one. We can try the other crate next. Guess I should wait part of the cooldown, then just smash this crate in advance. But I don't think you can get inside that crate. Could also try and be more inside this one. So this is weird. My velocity in all directions is being set to a constant non-zero value. At least according to this. Which seems odd. Even though I'm not moving. I will have to... Oh, maybe it's... Could be actually right in this corner. Yeah, so it would be lovely is I don't know of a zero damage weapon off the top of my head. Yes, I do. The only annoying thing is this doesn't actually do anything. So this won't push me back. What is it that's causing me to get pushed back on the attack? So let me take a look at the tree. Because the only thing I can think of is that there's a force pushing me forwards. But the thing is that there's no reason to teleport me backwards. So what is it about the skill tree? What is the thing which pushes me back? Is the question, I think. Do I know an object which has a useful thing? Yeah, okay, I've got the basic spear. So let's see what about this skill it is that pushes us back. Okay. Yeah, so there are a ton of force movements. They've all got like durations. They've got like presumably an amount for the forward direction. Is it relative to your current motion? Yes. No. It's always yes. We've then got... So it's specifically something that happens when you miss. Okay, wait a second. There are two... We are on the ground. So there are two tack arcs. I have no idea why this is the case, if I'm honest. So the first one, we... so it may just be the case that I have to sit here for long enough. Ooh, I'm in a different... Actually, maybe it is. So I do seem to be lower than I was. Am I just misremembering? I thought when I looked away that I was further down. There just seems to be a lot of tack arcs. So tack arcs are basically what decides what you're attacking. It's where the game looks for what you're going to attack. Could it be in the change orientation? Issue, you do actually, even if you've missed, even if you, wait a second, I can't tell where the miss is. That's the miss. Ah, okay, so no, only if you hit and have valid target, okay, good, I mean, that makes sense, do you change your orientation. Which suggests that's definitely not what's causing this, which is odd, because that's what I would have thought would have caused it. Which really suggests that it is force movement. Is that towards the... There does appear there is a knockback thing. So this is tack arc. This is what happens when something is blocked. I've seen this thing staying blocked for absolutely ages. I haven't known exactly what it did. But it seems, so there's this thing that says check ENV and then provides a blocked action, which is obviously what to do if you've been blocked. And that blocked action is knockback to the player. Which is interesting. So knockback at an angle of 0. I don't know what that angle is relative to. That could be quite important. Knockback angle of 0, strength 2. Okay, this is interesting. So we want, so like in theory, we want something which is on the caster. It is relative, I mean that should come for free, and has strength 2. As opposed to, yeah, most things don't have this acting on the caster. Almost everything has this acting somewhere else. So, I something really need to learn to use SQL. And I'm now aware that I'm going to have some people annoyed with me that I pronounce SQL, not SQL. Or not squeal, as I guess it should be. Yeah, okay, so we want caster 1. When everything is caster 1. Oh, and I guess. Just heard someone build something. Does that mean there's just someone here? There is someone else here. We might as well just try and do stuff. There's some here. Didn't expect that to do anything, but you know, could always hope. What else do we have available? Spring shoes won't do anything interesting. Most things won't do that much of interest. As most things don't. That really confused me for a second. That thing smashing on the side of the wall. It's like, someone else out of bounds? Whereas it's just that. How can I do an attack that deals no damage? is my question for today. There has to be something that I feel like there is something somewhere where the game like wanted to be certain you couldn't attack anything. I can only use that in a build area because this actually, well, this prevents you from attacking. I don't know if it actually does it in the does a 0 damage attack, because that's really what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something that does 0 damage, but is still an attack. But yeah, and so the other thing we're looking for here is something which does strong knockback to the caster itself. So this should be equal to caster. Great. How do I just get a list of these things? I just want to I just want to select everything which has one parameter and also has another parameter from like a list. Okay, that's actually not quite what I want to do, because that you actually can do in the DB browser I'm using. It's arranged slightly differently, because it is, well, for anyone who knows what I'm talking about, is the behavior parameter table, and so I'd be looking to take everything with a particular behavior ID that has a caster ID of 1 and a strength of greater than 2. Ooh, I've completed a mission. Why is this now not knocking me back, but it was a second ago? Actually, let's do a little bit of experimenting. So it does seem to change the direction. When does it? I'm not actually convinced. And I don't think this is hugely helping things. Okay, let's just line myself up as close as I can with the center of this. Of course. Let's line myself up as close as I can with the center of this. Hit. So stand, okay. I'm impressed with managing to make it this far back, if I'm honest. Now, that's quite a long ways away to have been blocked by something. But anyway, yes, we've guaranteed it's not the force movements, which is cool, and we know it's the knockback that's causing this. So I just need to make a SQL query that does what I'm looking for then, I guess. So yeah, I think I want to see the behavior somewhere where I'm in a tighter spot. And yeah, the best place I could think of off the top of my head for this is Vant Gardens. I'm just trying to work out if there's anywhere better to do this. I mean, the place... I think it's like Avant Gardens is the most useful of places to be doing literally anything. The other interesting thing about this, which makes me think I probably won't succeed in Avant Gardens, is the fact that, well, yeah, I'm getting pushed back a really small amount. And it might actually be done via a force. I don't know how knockback is achieved. It doesn't seem to be. Knockback does seem to be instantaneous. But the thing... Wait a second, there's also something that prevents knockback. Don't know what it is. There's some... I want to say well, I mean, I know there definitely is, because I know certain enemies in the game don't experience knockback. But I want to say I've seen something somewhere of like there's a way the player cannot experience it. Honestly, this might not be bad places to test. So like here we are surrounded on both sides. The issue there is that the force movement, which occurs before the knockback, pushes me too far forwards. I'm not really expecting too much here, if I'm honest. But actually, this is... Something interesting happened there. Wait a second. How am I getting through there? Am I literally just... Oh, okay. I think that's not counting as a blocked attack. My character is just moving forwards. No, is it? If that's the case, if I'm getting up, why am I being pushed back then here? So no, I think I am clipping in here slightly. We do this attack. Okay, the arrow did go up. I think that's a clip. It's an incredibly slight clip. I think it is one. So that is arguably a more or less meaningless find. Right here, because obviously I can just jump. But that is clipping me into that wall enough to get through it. Now, I don't know of anywhere in the game where there's physics tight enough that that could make a difference. Like, normally if the devs didn't want you getting somewhere, they wouldn't make a small thing that would be clippable. They would just make a giant wall you couldn't get through. Seems to have normally been their design policy. This seems like a cool place to test stuff. It would be. But there's nothing here to block any of my attacks. Oh! No, look at that! So that was a clip, I think. It's a clip of some sort. So you see if I run up here, then attack forwards, don't get up because my head keeps bonking on this thing right above me. And I keep sliding back down off of this thing because that's too steep. If I do this, you can literally see the game pushing me out after I've clipped inside. Again, completely useless, but... Oh, wait. Wait a sec. This you can't get out of. Yeah, okay, so just another example of using this to clip. I'm now out. So we're limited to areas with really tight physics. Yeah, so there again, can't get through. Do that. I can. So arguably. Ooh! That's cool. Don't know exactly how I did that. That was precisely what we're here looking for. I'm interested that the game is now wasn't knocking me back when I was doing that a second ago. Wonder why that is. Wait a sec. This is like one of the things where skill tree manipulation will be really powerful. Because if you could manage to simultaneously execute several of these, you could just clip through stuff. So cannot replicate my clip consistently. Not consistently enough to test its properties. Okay, so I do actually get fairly stuck here. As in, yeah, I can escape by turning the camera, but I can't escape by jumping. Okay, I did that time. What's my velocity looking like? I've completely lost my velocity because I changed worlds. Let's see if I can get it back. How do I do this again? All the meanwhile, I'm just falling. Or at least I think I'm falling. Yep. Looking for flares. 1, 2. Okay. That should be here. So, got our velocity, I think, or I've got our x velocity. I'm just gonna get our y velocity and see what that's looking like. Because I did have a theory for quite a while. Interesting, my y velocity is positive. It's very small, but positive. That is, I'm assuming I have managed to find the velocities. I might have just found random parts of memory with some random constant values. I'll test that out in a sec once I've got all of them, and so move. Yeah, it's interesting. It's oh, I forgot I can't get out. That's just right. So I'm going to need to make this small briefly, just to double check. But yeah. Okay, so we did find the velocities. So it's interesting, when you get trapped inside something, the game does something which I'm quite surprised at, but it appears, at least from what I can see, it appears to just preserve your velocity. I don't know why it would do that. It does. So that's fairly cool as a trick. Just getting stuck here. Ground pounding here. Oh, I forgot I've got to do that to get out. Alright, so we've actually found something. That's always nice for a change. It's fairly often don't manage to find anything on an expedition into the depths of LU's code. Yeah, the issue is I just can't see anything really. I could have an interesting bug somewhere there, but I wouldn't ever know. Ooh, can I put this to the test? Can I see if I can get through? Just like that! I think I did get partially through there a second ago. Maybe I just went to... yeah, I think I did just go around. The issue is this doesn't push me back in the correct direction for what I'm going for. Like, in theory, this is the kind of thing that this should be useful for. It's abusing times where there are, like, small things in the physics, but the issue is that I need something... I need, like, an extra wall that I'm facing, like, here, in order to actually make any use of that. Hey, I saw that. Right then. Thinking eventually could be useful here. As always, eventually just tending to be incredibly useful whenever I want to do any sort of out of bounds. It's just like, yeah, what would be the ideal faction for this venture? Always. Turn around. Attempt to start like pushing a different way, maybe? No, that didn't help. I mean, it's interesting that I can get like partially clipped under here. Wait a second, I didn't even jump there. Yeah, I jump attacked. It's because the game was pushing me up, yeah. Game actually moves you to the jumping state occasionally. I wonder what it would do if I was in the jumping state and just ground pounded. So, I mean, yeah, this actually does seem kind of interesting. Like, there's stuff here, like, one of the things I normally look for when investigating any kind of bug is there a reason it wouldn't have been discovered before? Because if I've got a potential idea for a bug, like, and it's really, really easy to do, well then I know it's not a bug, because I know it would have been discovered. I feel like certain areas of trees might be really good for this. I would need to be a little bit more surrounded than I am, but in theory this could let me clip into trees. Like, even this isn't really enough. I mean, I'm going to try, but... So it would just be nice with this to have a way of then not getting pushed back out. So that's why I do this, and I just get instantly pushed out. If I try and like wiggle my character around, because that does, wiggling does like make you minorly clip through stuff. Like, if there were typically places where it would be useful to, like... Wait a second, is this... Don't think I should be able to do anything of interest here, but, like, it's worth a try. The issue is that I just get pushed too far out by the force before the knockback. Though. So this is an interesting place to try. Well, actually, first off, this could be kind of fun. Just to see. Can't quite get low enough there. I can't use this to clip backwards in. We are very much in the exploration stage of this bug. Like, yeah, there, I just made it through. So currently we are in a clipped position. Question is what we do with it, or if there's anything interesting we can do with it. So interestingly, whilst we're clipped... Ooh, okay, I am stuck. I'm unstuck. Interestingly, so this might be part of my issue with the Forbidden Valley clip, which is that once I get clipped, it appears like most of the time the game's like, okay, you're clipped, now when you attack, we're just going to let you move forwards more or less. Like, I'm not really getting the same knockback here that I should be. Which is interesting. It's also fairly one-directional, this clip, which is interesting. It's not useful, it's just something to note about it. Like, just because you can do the clip one way, it really, really doesn't imply you can do it the other way. Yeah, is there an invisible physics thing here? Oh, there actually is. It's an invisible wall there. It's not close enough, though. This feels like almost the ideal place, though, to use it. But apparently isn't. Okay. Something like here. This not to be doing anything. Something like here seems really... This like seems ideal. It's like if I can't get this here, I can't get it anywhere kind of thing. The issue is... I don't think these forward attacks are counting. It's just... Oh. Oh, wait. No, that doesn't let me. Yeah, okay, so these forwards attacks, they aren't... Yeah, they're not getting any knockback. So every single game checks like at my head height almost. So that gets knocked back. Ooh, wait, I saw that. Okay, so that's the issue of trying to abuse this anywhere here. So that I can only clip backwards, really. I could also try clipping like this. The issue is that I move too far forwards. Don't have anything that stops me moving forwards. Normally that's not something I'd be investigating. Normally I don't want anything to stop me moving forwards. I want all the speed I can get. But here we actually do. But I don't have anything to stop me. Okay, so there are some interesting nooks and crannies. Thing is, I think I'm just going to auto-target that if it respawns. Or when it respawns, so I was going to try and use that as part of the clip, but I will just auto-target, so can't do that. Here we can only get up and over, because that's just too low to do anything else with. Yeah, the issue now with trying to abuse this, there aren't too many enclosed spaces. How you really like, because I've been looking for hiding spots. Well, not in many worlds, but I did spend a while looking for hiding spots in here, in preparation for the hide and seek thing, just to see whether or not it was feasible. And like almost anywhere you'd see like a most interesting. Okay. Yeah, and I've kind of had an eye out since then, and like most worlds, anywhere interesting is always locked off. There's invisible physics volumes somewhere. Most always, because of rule. Okay, so I can't get through here. And take rest do I get through here. Interesting that I can only not get through there one way. Don't know why that is. Oh, guess I can't get through there. Oh, maybe. No, I can't get through here at all. It appears like for whatever reason I can clip through this one way. I can't clip through in the reverse without using the attacking bug. So I mean, this attacking bug is cool. I just don't see anywhere where it will be particularly useful, because just the game normally doesn't let you do this. It's like overhangs, maybe? Could, like this, I could kind of see there being some potential. Brick building like this, there's kind of hope. But the issue is, where could I actually get stuck? Like here we do actually have... What happened there? Anywhere where I attack and get a jump attack, that's always really interesting. Because if I haven't jumped, that means something weird's happening. Oh, no, it's not going there. Okay. So it's interesting that this effect actually becomes less useful the further you are clipped into something. Because if you're clipped into it, it's then not going to recognise that you're trying to clip through it. So let's actually return to what I was originally came here for, which is this. So I am clipping in here, but I'm just getting pushed out faster, which is going to be the issue of basically any clip I can think of. It's a really annoying part of this, is that unless I can find something which does more knockback to me, this is always going to be a problem. And I'm not going through every single weapon to find the one with the most knockback. I can find things which I know things which do damage faster. Like this does damage pretty quickly. But that's not really helpful. Because it doesn't knock me. So that just does nothing. Figured, but it's worth a try. Interestingly, this does no knockback whatsoever. Huh. Well, shurikens obviously won't. So that does none. That does some. I felt like that did quite a lot. Is that just placebo? Wait a second, I was looking at the basic spear before. So this is the one thing I do know the stats for. I don't actually know them for anything else. Maybe 2 was good. Ooh, this is a really interesting place. It's like if you were to manage to get an interesting one anywhere, it would be here. But I think the plot summary is this doesn't clip you. This won't clip you through a wall that's like perpendicular to where you're going. This will get you through places which are. This will get you through gaps which are thinner than your character should be able to fit through. Seems to be the summary right now, which is unfortunately at the moment kind of useless. Like, I'm sure there are niche applications, but that's what holds this back at the moment. And that also answers the question of exactly what I'm going to find when I go to Avant Garden. So I don't even know if it's worth going there anymore, because I do know what I'm going to get. And yeah, the LU devs never really block anything off by having a passageway that's too thin. Like, this could potentially be a really useful technique if any areas are found, or any strats. Like, as with many of the things I find, this is kind of like, okay, could be useful if anyone finds a use for it, kind of thing. That's a kind of hard jump, actually. Okay. I mean, I think, yeah, what we're looking for. So, what we're looking for with this is the following. We're interested in ways we can manage to, like, stat. In theory, like, what if you could trigger multiple of these attacks simultaneously? That, in theory, like, that's kind of, I guess that seems like the most likely bug we could find in LU at the moment. Is a way to like trigger multiple attacks at once. Or like, rather like almost queue multiple attacks, I guess. Don't know, there is... It just seems like we can't seem to break out of the fact that most of the time skill trees have like particular things do particular things. Like I can't make a stun not happen, really, it seems. But what if I could accept the stun and just trigger like 5 different spear, or trigger my spear attack like 5 times in a row? Because like in theory, if you did all of that in one frame, could that then clip you through? And then the answer is kind of maybe. Oh yeah, because like, look at that. That actually did just clip me through that barrier. But the reason... It didn't clip me through that one, interesting. But the reason why this is clipping me through is just because of how thin this is. So, no, that didn't even clip me through. It's not clipping me through anymore. Just clipping me on top. Why did that clip me through before and now it's just refusing to do so? Angle at which I'm doing it, maybe? There we are. Am I just... No, that definitely seemed to be at 3. Okay, so I seem to need to press right to get that to happen. I'm kind of pressing right and releasing it, but I don't need to release it. It's kind of frustrating, right? It's like, oh, good work, you found a clip, but you can use it basically nowhere. Wow, I just took a look at the time and realised how completely nerd sniped I've been by this. Just going through a mental map of like various places in the game place we could do this. Ooh! Yes, Nexus Tower. This does have one interesting place. I'm going to call it after this one, but there is one interesting thing which springs to mind in Nexus Tower, which is that entrance area. Again, I don't think this will be... Actually, this is... If there were to be a place where this would be useful, it would be here, actually. Because I guess the best case scenario for this... Oh. I think there are interesting things like here. Yeah, I think the best case scenario for this glitch is a place where you don't actually... Where, like, the advantage... Where, like, you can then... You use it to clip into the stuff sideways. Let's see what the vibes are. Kind of seeming too solid right now, if I'm honest. So what exactly is happening here? Let's get pushed out to equilibrium, and then hit. Moving too far out. Yeah, the issue... So yeah, you can see I'm getting clipped in there. I do kind of get fairly far through, I feel like. If I'm seeing that correctly. There's basically no way of getting through the other way. Kind of figured, but it's always worth a check. Yeah, okay. So what I guess could be, so what I guess could be an interesting application of this is if you have two walls very, very close to one another, and you actually, like, maybe want to go, like, yeah, you wouldn't even be able to go up with this, though. Because that's not what happens when you get clipped in between two walls now. You don't get moved up. Doesn't even do anything, that doesn't do anything interesting with air movement either. Again, I've tested most of these things at one time or another. So this normally seems to actually work quite... So what if... have I just not been getting very clipped through? Maybe I've not been getting clipped anywhere near as far through as I thought I've been. I don't think I have been. I think I've just been sitting here. I think I am partially getting clipped in, but I think part of what's given me the illusion of success is... yeah, I am clearly getting a little ways, but nowhere near far enough. And the reason why I think using a speed boost might make a difference or could make some difference is that I suspect a lot of what's actually moving me through here is just me getting clipped partially inside and moving a little whilst I'm inside. Like, that's my theory for how I'm actually... Well, yeah, I think I'm out of ideas. Thank you all very much for watching. We'll see whether or not anything comes to this. As it is, it seems it's most likely just to be one of those things that gets added to my list of, hey, here are more kind of useless things I know about this game. There we are, clipped through. Clipped through there, the most useful of clips I could possibly have found. I can get past a small thing. Guess here, this looks almost like the ideal place if one could, but geometry's wrong. This kind of looks ideal, but I don't think. Actually, yeah, so there it's the force pushing you forward, which breaks this. Which means this particular one couldn't actually work, because yeah, the force pushing me forward would push me out of the way in advance. So I think that's maybe the idea for this. That, like, the knockback was added to counteract the fact that there was that force pushing you forwards, but the thing is it compensates for it. Ooh. This is kind of cool, but again, we won't manage it. I don't think. Ooh, things that do help though. I suspect are weapons. So the spear actually is a good idea. Weapons with a long attack arc will but no, the force, you'll get forced forward. I was thinking you wouldn't need to be in as much of a corner if you had a weapon with a long attack arc, because it would trigger the miss, or the block rather, from a lot further back, but whilst that's true, it's not helpful, because the game still moves you forwards in advance. So for that, yeah, I think I'm calling it. Thank you all for watching. Hope it's been... Well, I mean, we've had some success, so I hope it's been somewhat enjoyable for that at least. Thank you very much for watching. I've been enjoying you, and I'll see you around.